This. All right. So we're going to get started now then. Okay. So hi guys, my name is Jason Centeno. I'm not really sure how you guys got here. You can tell me, but there's a variety of sources in it. It was probably the meetup. Is that accurate for you guys?
Yes, that's what I found.
Okay, so you found us through a meetup. Okay,
Mhm.
um, just good to know. So, yeah, we put this. I put this on in association with the Alchemist Nation, and basically the reason for it is because when you're in real estate, I mean, there's a lot of things you could do. Obviously, you can be a wholesaler, you can fix and flipper, you can buy notes, you can there's just all kinds of flavors, right? But out of all that, something you're gonna have to do, obviously, at some point, you're gonna have to be marketing yourself, right? I mean, you're gonna have to people are gonna have to get to know you in the marketplace, and they're gonna have to get to know you in the marketplace. You have to stand out outside of all the noise. So what I'm gonna do right now is I'm just gonna do a quick review of what we did last week. Linda, who's tapping in now, is what was able to come into that. So you may have seen the video before this where we kind of went through this. But one of the things that I was trying to make sure that people had today, or we can touch upon it real quick, is what is who are you going to be in the marketplace? Okay. Um, I, this right here is just a shot of an avatar that I created to get people familiar with who I am. It's eye catching. It's a kind of a catchy phrase, and the whole purpose of the first the first chapter was to get something in your head about who you are. Call it your not to be fake, but it's like your alter ego. So every day you wake up, you're one person, but if you're a salesman and you're going to be all real estate or anything, any product you have, you're going to have to learn how to sell. Not saying like a car salesman, you got to be out there, hustling, but this is a hustle too. But I'm talking about just how do you stand out from the 100 other people in the world doing the same thing as you. And if you're in real estate, obviously, and you're sending out marketing materials, you're making phone calls, you're trying to reach out to people, you're at meetups either online or offline. God forbid we never see that again. But the point is, how are you going to get in people's heads to become the person they think of when, hey, I want to buy and sell real estate, or hey, I want to buy or sell, I don't know, a car or a product, e-commerce, a T-shirt even. So this first chapter was just basically getting to the point where you would come up with a nickname that is congruent with who you are, and that becomes your, call it, superhero name. You can kind of see right here. So think, when Clark Kent takes off his glasses and opens his shirt, he's Superman. Bruce Wayne turns into Batman. I'm using these comic book analogies, but basically it's the persona you put onto the marketplace. It's not necessarily fake. It's just the better version of you, the version of you that is what they're attracted to. Because, we all get in our head about things. We might not feel like we're the smartest, or we might just be feeling down. So it's kind of like you you take on this identity to get you in the state. Tony Robbins would call it getting into state. I believe that's what the words he uses, to getting into a state of being prepared so that you go out there and you're your best self, and you can be attractive to more people. You're what they're looking for, is what I'm saying. So we went through the social effects of a nickname. Some of it is like how you see yourself. So hopefully, if you've got a cool nickname, you can use that. But not only that, but if other people give you nicknames and you like it, that could be part of it too. So for example, Linda, who's in the room, I looked at her last name and I was like, all right, so if I were you, and she's into real estate, she's doing I think she's doing wholesaling, but or some other things. But you know when she goes out in the marketplace, she a good tagline or nickname or marketing name would be, you would love it, you will love it, right? Like, so that she took that as a website and she put that as her email and Gmail and all these other things. People would get to think about her. And she also does recipes. So I said, well, why don't you combine your recipe skills and your passion, right? Because that's what I want you to do. I want you to think of what you really love to do and mix it with what you're trying to do, your business. So if you're, let's say, for example, for me, I was a wholesaler and I was like, well, I want my brand to be about family and fun. So I came up with the name Daddy's Fast Cash. Well, why? Because fast cash was a solution to a problem for sellers. I need fast cash. And I'm a dad, so daddy. And together was like Daddy's Fast Cash, which was like my superhero name. And I used that in my marketing, which made me stand out above pretty much everybody else because I was probably the only person really doing that. Now, nowadays, not so much. There's a lot of other people who do something similar, but why I say it's important is because when people aren't ready to buy from you now, they remember you. I've had people call me years later, like, I've always been following your emails and what you do, and like, I'm ready to buy now. So it's important that you set something up like that because you want to um, have that together for your future. So it's called long tail kind of marketing. Also, it helps you set your mind on what you want. So for example, Jamal, let me ask you, have you thought about like who you want to be in the marketplace and how you want to be seen? Like, tell me a little bit about your business and what you're trying to accomplish so I can kind of help show you where you could find some branding for yourself.
Okay, absolutely. So, I'm coming from the medical field, well, the nursing field. I've been in the medical field for about 13 years now. I'm currently a nurse and I'm looking to get into real estate. Well, I'm actively working on building a wholesale business that'll eventually build into um, fix and flip buying, like different divisions like fix and flip buying, hold, um, doing private investing and things like that. So I was kind of thinking about this maybe about a month ago, and I was thinking that um sort of like that name could be like the real estate nurse or something like that, something to that effect, because I'm trying to heal people's personal situations. I'm trying to figure out a way to serve them. And so I'm thinking that the real estate nurse would be something that would kind of give that connotation of I'm trying to heal their situation.
Got it. Um, what would you call yourself? You said the real estate nurse. S-
Or
So,
something to that
so,
effect.
so a doctor sounds more powerful. But what about this? Because your name is Steel, right? Like Steelworks or something along those lines, where it's not necessarily nursing, but it's just a strong name. That's one thing you can do. One of the things I will say is this: as you're building your business, right? Whatever LLC you end up coming up with, you don't necessarily want it to say real estate in the title, because when you're getting business funding, one of the it's kind of like one of those tr- tr- it's one of those what banks look out for, like when you're trying to build business credit. If you're in the real estate business and you say real estate is your business, they frown upon that because to them it's a little riskier than say a restaurant business or something else brick and mortar. Maybe not so much
Okay.
anymore, but so instead of saying steel homes or steel investments, you know one of the ones I did was like asset management. What was the other ones? One was Dad's Pads. I'm trying to just think of all the corporation names. I mean, I have Cashflow Copilot. These are these are things that don't necessarily trigger a bank to say no when when they ask you about your business. So it was just something to think about for the future. But
Okay.
like the nursing thing, doctor sounds more powerful, even though that's not what you are. But what about your like hobbies? What kind of hobbies do you have? Like, what do you love to do that doesn't feel like work?
Just being taking time with family, wife and three kids, um, reading, working out. So like going out, being like outside outdoors and things like that. So that would be my main hobbies, those four things.
So what would you so like if you say your Instagram account, right? What would people see about you most on there? Like, are you into like fitness a lot?
I wouldn't say necessarily a lot that I really promote it. It's just something I do to make sure that I'm just staying healthy. But it's not something I really promote like that. Um, I would say mainly if you look at like my Facebook page, it'll be more about like my family.
Okay. So, so a family oriented brand. I mean, just off the top of my head, I would probably like House of Steel would be kind of cool because then it kind of can talk about you could bring your family into it, but it also has to deal with real estate, right? So I like to say you're trying to find the chocolate and the peanut butter, the chocolate being like your fun stuff, your hobbies, your life, and the
Okay.
peanut butter being the business side of what you do, and trying to marry them together to get a Reese's peanut butter cup because I love them. I don't know about you, but I love them. But the idea is you're taking two things to wrap them into one, and the reason why is because you're going to want to attract people to you other than real estate. Because the mistake a lot of people make is, in my opinion, is always real estate, real estate, real estate, real estate, and nobody has a reason to talk to them if they're not buying real estate. And honestly, how many times do people buy real estate in their lifetime? Most of the time, they're going to buy one or two houses in their whole life, right? So they're only going to talk to you about things one or two times in your life. Like, you want that, or you want them in your world to think about you as that guy that I can talk to about that when I'm ready. But in the meantime, he's interesting because of this or that. And like I said with Linda and recipes, it could be House of Steel could be about fit. Like if you took like House of Steel, family, fitness, and houses or finance or flips. There you go. The three F's. I mean, you just roll that around in your head. But the point is, I'm trying to get you to like think of a brand that you are,
Mm-hmm.
and then like you're the face of the brand, and you can use your last name, but that would entice people to be more into what you're doing and to check out a lot of your personal and then some of your business. If you're all business, it's really difficult to strike up a conversation because you don't know if that person is going to try to sell you something from the door, because that's all you see them trying to sell something, right?
Yeah.
Or buy something, but on the opposite side of that. But everybody knows it's like we buy houses or I buy houses. They already know why. So that means, well, I'm not selling my house. So what reason do I have to talk to you? If that makes, hopefully, if that makes sense, does that make sense to you? The idea that you want to pull people towards you instead of push them in some direction you want them to go. You can't do that until they're attracted to you for some reason. And it's you, not the house thing. That they're
Yeah, I get. Yeah, I get what you're saying. Just kind of keep them engaged into something that's more personable for them, or that would be more personable for them, and then maybe later down the road, I guess when they may have a problem or something like that, they would already have you in your head because they've seen all the personal stuff that's kind of keep them within your wheelhouse. Which I'm picking up from you.
yeah. And House of Steel, if you went with something like that, would you could still talk about the nurse stuff in there. I mean, there's a way to make all that fit because everybody has multiple facets to them. But I'm
Mhm.
just trying to get you to like decide on the main two, and then you can kind of show the other stuff from there. Or it could even be three, like I told you, it could be family, fitness, and flips or something like that. And then that could be your triangle. It fits. I'm just saying it starts to get a lot of cumbersome, but all those other things kind of revolve around that. So that's what I kind of wanted to point out to you to start thinking about, and you get to play with that. And another thing too is as you're building it, it's going to evolve. That's why I use a lot of Pokemon stuff in my things, because there's all these evolutions you go through. So don't get too sad or caught up in like, love your brand because that's who you are, but it will, as you grow older, as you dip into other parts of business, it will evolve. So pick something and then grow it from there. And then when it's time to outgrow it, you kind of just do a Puff Daddy to Diddy to Sean Combs kind of thing. You just kind of evolve with it, but people know who you are from the journey they took with you, if that makes sense.
Okay. Yes, it does.
Okay. Cassandra, do you have any questions around this? Or would you like me to hear your idea? Going once, twice, and I guess not. She's probably just listening, and that's okay. So this chapter 2, got to catch them all, right? So what this deals with is if you've picked out what your brand is going to be, then one of the things you want to do is go out there and get, first of all, you want to get your own domain name, meaning like it could be lindalovett.com, jamalsteele.com. I would get .club too, because that's going to get thing, and .tv if you can afford it. But Namecheap is probably one of the cheapest places you could buy domains. It's pretty easy. If you're already used to GoDaddy, I mean, and you're not going to buy a lot of domains, that's okay too. But I'm just trying, try to save you some dollars. Namecheap is pretty good because it's Canadian. You're paying American dollars for Canadian, so everything's cheaper. Just a little hint there. Um, but yeah, once you settle on a brand name for yourself, you're gonna want to go get at least a Gmail account, because Gmail and YouTube go together, and you can grab that for a YouTube channel. And then it's easy to change your Instagram and your TikTok and all these other ones to that too. But I would say the most important one's probably the Gmail because of YouTube. And then you can change your Facebook, pretty much everything. But you got to find the one, because you can fall in love with a name, but you want to go and make sure you got, like I said, if you can get as close to the website as possible, like House of Steel with your spelling, um, gotta love it or you will love it. For Linda spelling with her last name, go grab that first, and then when it's available, if it's available, grab it right away, and then also try to grab the same thing for the Gmail. Change your Facebook to that, change your Instagram to that, change all your social media, your LinkedIn, try to get it to align username wise with that, and Twitter and everything else that you can get, because it's easier that for people to remember. So for example, I created a name. Daddy's Fast Cash was out of thin air. So if you make up a nickname, like Xerox made up Xerox, and Uber made up Uber, out of something, then you're guaranteed to probably find that domain or that Gmail or all that. So with Daddy's Fast Cash, that's what I was thinking. Like if someone was searching for that on Google, what would they come up with? I don't want them to ever mistakenly go to someone else's site. So I made sure that I spelled it a certain way where it could only be me. So people are looking for you, they're going to find exactly you, because the way you made it up, it was unique. So if you could figure out a unique spelling or a unique way to do it, not super super unique where they like too many, like a super huge long name, because you don't want domain names more than like 10, 14 characters if you can help it, because it's harder to remember. You want kind of sequences of words or something like that that's easy to remember. But as you're coming up with this and writing down your notes, you're going to try to figure out like what is something that I can call that could be uniquely my own. And if you can get the domain for it in the Gmail, like you're onto something, because all the rest you can change around to reflect that. So it makes you easier to find. Now, once you get all that stuff together, you're going to want to like go to places where somebody can make logos for you, and cheap. So I don't know if you've ever heard of Fiverr, but you probably have. It's pretty popular. Fiverr is a place where you can go test out a lot of graphic artists at the same time. So this is what I would do with Fiverr. I ended up going with 99 Designs, which cost me more. But now, if you've ever followed me, and you can follow me, if you look for the Dad Next Door on social media, you're always going to find me or my cartoon character avatar. And the reason I did that is because the avatar sticks out in people's minds more. Yes, a lot of people will argue and be like, well, I don't want to do business with a person I don't know what their face looks like. Go on my Facebook or my Instagram, you can see what my face looks like. But in the meantime, when you're scrolling through a bunch of things, that pops out. So you want to pop out. Now it's up to you whether you want to have a cartoon version of yourself or not. I do, because I'm about family fun and comic books, and that's my thing. And if you don't like that, or if you think that's unprofessional, I don't really give a shit. So like that's your problem. If you're that shallow that you can't see past that, or if that's just something that bothers you, then we probably wouldn't do good business together anyway. So you know what I mean? There's plenty of business out there in the world. Don't really need all of it. Thank you, and keep it moving, right? So to that end, Fiverr, I would use Fiverr like this. I come up with a concept, but then because it's kind of cheap, I would go and hire about 3 or 4 people that I might like at the same time, right? Get them all to do a version of whatever it is you're trying to accomplish, and then see which one you like the best, because it's kind of a cheap way of having people compete for your business. Now, on a higher level, if you want people to compete like 99 Designs, what's cool about it is you can set up an auction and then a whole bunch of people bid for your design. So now you got anywhere from 3 or 4 people to could be 10, 15, depends on, how much, how bad you want it and how much work you want. And I personally like that sort of bidding war that happens because once you two things. Once you get the person, like you get a lot of suggestions. So sometimes it's kind of hard. You can ask people, hey, and this is content for social media. Hey, can you guys bid on, tell me which one of these logos you like better? They'll tell you, and you can get clear about it, and then pick the person, pay them. But what's cool is the guy that I've paid to do my first design. What once you've exchanged all the information that you need to pay each other, now you know each other forever. So that person becomes the your brand sort of not ambassador, I'm sorry, the caretaker of your brand. So he's going to help you figure, like you're going to figure out your colors and everything, and then and your looks. And then you just, oh, if you ever want to do stuff like what I did, like here, like I took the character and turned them in, whenever there was holidays or something else, I turned them out to all these versions. And I would always go back to this guy, and because he had already did most of the work, it was easy for him to do another version of it and give it to me a lot cheaper than going back to this whole, you know, when it was back then, it was 225. It's probably more now, but you see what I'm saying? So once you find the right person, they can always go back and give you different art based off your original art that's still congruent with your brand. So you start to keep a look, that a consistent look across the board for as long as you do this. That's what I would suggest, because you're always going to want, a professional like that. And you're not always going to want to go bid and find somebody new. You want to stay in touch with that person and then just work a deal out. So now anytime I want to do that stuff, this guy, I just email him, and he, gives me something in a week or two. I do a couple of revisions by email. Either sometimes you can just record it with video, or you can screenshot it and do arrows and notes. But we've gotten to the point where it's like, hey, I want something like this. You send it back, change these few things, change these couple colors, make the mouth different. Boom, 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 about 3 or 4 times back and forth, and we're done. So it's not a whole big production. You're waiting days just to see a version like that. That's the beauty of having someone that you grow with, right? So you can do the 2 to 4 artists bidding on Fiverr, or you can go somewhere bigger like 99 Designs. I'm pretty sure there's more out there, but these are kind of my two go-to, right? So yeah, and this is after you figured out your brand. So you got to go claim your name on all the social media accounts. Once you get clear about it, try some out, see what you can find, like through a free Gmail account that's congruent with you. See if you can grab the domain name. I would say Namecheap. GoDaddy's another one. There's others out there, but just buy your domain names now. Anything you think it might be, even alternate spellings, grab them, because that might end up being your Gmail. Your Gmail might have to spell something a little different, because all the free Gmail people out there might have took the name you want. So you could go try Gmail first and then go for a domain, or vice versa, or do them both at the same time and decide. Really up to you. And that's pretty much it for this sort of chapter, where really it's getting your nickname or get your alter ego superhero name down, and then moving on to getting all your domain names and all your social media kind of congruent with that. One thing that's not on here that I will say is, after you get that down, I would say try to get yourself like a tagline. Some people call it an elevator pitch, but what you're looking for is like it would be like a 2 or 3, let's say 2, 3 to 5 words that describe what you do in a nutshell. I sell real estate. I sell, like if it was Linda, I sell tasty real estate deals, because of recipe thing, right? So that could be me. I sell to, I got, come to me for tasty real estate deals, but I got tasty real estate deals. Maybe that would be hers, right? House of Steel. I don't know. I would have to think about that, but come up with like a tagline, a few words, and then you're going to build out from there. People are going to want to know, what do you do? So you're going to want that little short one, and then you're going to want like a 1 to 2 sentence sort of elevator pitch one that describes what you do. And the less words you use, the better. So your tagline, if it's like 2 to 5 words, because people just want to look and be like, okay, I get it. And then when they ask further, you can dig deeper into, well, how do you do that? And that becomes your two sentence kind of elevator pitch. For example, my current one is, I help entrepreneurs learn how to generate more cash flow. Well, how do you do that? Well, I help, first responders and dad entrepreneurs, work out the problems in their business, whether they're just growing or whether they're just getting started or growing. And then, I see where the problems lie. Like a mechanic, I see the problems, and then, I help them fix it so that they can grow their cash flow. So that was a little longer, but I have these kind of taglines that go with what I do so that it gets easier for people to figure me out, because that's what they want to do. And it also evolves. So you'll always be playing with it as your business grows, and maybe you change from wholesaling to flipping, or you go from flipping to Airbnb, or you just suddenly become a private investor. You can alter and change that, like I said, evolve that as well, but you got to start somewhere. So I'm telling you, this is where you would start. Get your 5 word kind of tagline, and then grow into a 2 sentence, 1 or 2 sentence kind of pitch, because these are all the things that are going to go in your social media as well. That 1 to 2 sentence pitch would be what you probably could put on your Facebook personal page, your LinkedIn, your Instagram, because they're always looking for those descriptions. Some might have emojis, others might be, it's variations on that 1 or 2 sentence pitch that you're going to have out there in the world. So everything starts to look a lot more congruent and match with each other. That's what you want. You don't want to be one thing over here, another thing over here. I'm guilty of it too, especially with all these social media accounts. You forget what you were before. Like, I don't use that one that much. You got to go back and fix it. But this is all part of you getting your personal brand nice and tight so that people know what you're about, so that they think of you first. Remember, that's the whole point. They want to think of you first for that one thing. And there's a lot of competition for that one thing out there, especially if you're in real estate. So the easier you make it for them to like get you in a nutshell or get you in a 1 sentence thing, a jingle, your jingle, your 5 pages, like that's your jingle. The easier it is going to be for you to grow relationships and stick in people's minds, and also craft your message, your content, everything that you put out there in the world. The more concise it is, when you're stuck and you're like, oh, what am I going to talk about? Go back to your little 5 sentence thing. What do I do? This. Oh, I could talk about this. I forgot about that. That helps you. That becomes your GPS for the things you do, if that makes sense.
Jason, this is Cassandra. I'm sorry I couldn't answer earlier because I was having problems with my microphone, so excuse me. So, all right, so I did come up with a name, but it is catchy to me, but it kind of has a curse word in it.
Yeah.
So it's like shit shifter master.
You're going to have problems with that, because I don't even think you could get that think of it this way. If you took that as a Gmail, and as soon as you start, like, you're talking to a bank, email me a shit shifter. Oh my God. Like already they're like, oh, I don't want to type that out. So it's nothing wrong with that. Like that could be your internal name, but yeah, anytime you got a curse word or something in there. Oh my God, I'm trying to remember. Because people will make the craziest emails. I'm trying to remember. There was one that was like, well, one of my favorites was Black Elvis. My boy created a company called Black Elvis, and I would always laugh, and he bought real estate in it. And I was just like, and he's this white guy too. That was the other thing that was funny about it. And I was just like, to me, it made me giggle. So that worked. And there was a story behind it. So maybe you could go with something funny and not so on the nose.
Mhm.
I mean, poop shifter, but because it works with an emoji. But
Yeah,
what does it
there's a
mean to
couple
you? Like,
others I have
I'm
too,
sorry?
but this one is like, I was like, okay, that would definitely get someone's attention.
But
So
it might be the
wrong
wrong attention.
attention,
Because
bad
I'll
attention.
I'll give you an example, right? So first, the one I just told you, people just don't think when there's a curse word in it, it's generally not professional. Even the guy, even how not to give a what's that book? The Art of Not Giving a Fuck, right? So that one,
Mhm.
a lot of people have problems with it. It doesn't stop it, but when you have to get so big that it's like a overcoming. Like in other words, you bypass the F word because that's a big one. That's definitely a attention getter. But that guy
Yeah.
did that on purpose. He was big enough to polarize people because you
Mhm.
can't polarize people. But when you're just building out, it's kind of it's kind of risky. I would never say no. I'm just saying like imagine uh
I got you. Yeah,
here it
I
was. This is this. I'll probably get banned for this one, but it was Queef Master. The guy's email was Queef Master, and I couldn't have. I was like, "There's no way I'm typing this, or this guy's ever going to get any money from me." But I was just laughing about that. That was his email, right?
uh-huh.
So, so just think of it that way. Like you might be preventing yourself from like an opportunity off of that you don't want to. So there's levels to this. Like when you're among your friends, like that could be your own sort of name for yourself, but you got to come up with something because it's not even clear what you do. Shit shifter, like what does that mean?
Okay, okay. So I was thinking like crappy houses, you know, shifting it to, and then you say tie it to something that you're interested in or that you do.
Mhm.
So okay, retired military 26 years. So hence, anyway, I'm a little rough around the edges sometimes, but I just thought it kind of fit me a little bit. But
How about Sergeant Save a House? Something like that.
oh, that's cute. Okay, I like that. Okay.
Like think to see so see now with that now you have your story attached to it. I don't know if you're a sergeant, but um play around with stuff like that because it's a lot
Mhm.
catchier and easier for people to wrap their head around. Plus, you're sticking that military background in there, so automatically people think, you know, disciplined, patriot, like everything that goes with military. It
Mhm.
automatically engenders like that person to want. A, you stand out from I buy houses by saying something like that.
Right.
Now that's a lot of Sergeant Save a House. That's a lot of words for a domain name. And sometimes people spell sergeant wrong.
Mhm.
So it could be, and I knew a
The
guy, the
abbreviation
real
like
estate.
SGT.
I knew a guy who did the real estate soldier, and it was that was still pretty long, but like you see what I'm saying that worked for him. It was a brand. It wasn't awesome, but it worked for him. Um, so play around with that, but like anything with alliteration, meaning like all those S's or
Yes.
matching words or rhyming words, you're on the right track. So play around with it a couple times, but think about it that way. It could be very. You don't want to get too what's the word I'm looking for? When they like because I was in the fire department, so if you start using jargon like stang pipe and the ladder
Oh,
and
the
the
acronyms.
engine,
Yeah.
like people are like, oh, what do you mean? That only works among other firefighters. So, but sergeant translates across the board. Home army or like I don't know, play around with it. The
Well, I was in
word
the Air Force, so force is a powerful word too.
uh-huh.
So
Home force. Not property's too long, but I mean that might be too simple. You might not be able to get that, but you could play around with that. I like Sergeant Save a House. I mean, it is long, but it's catchy because
yes.
catchy is what you really want. Um, and you could always call it Sergeant SGT to shorten it. Um,
Hmm.
but looking for it in I don't know, Google, YouTube, and them might pick it up. You always kind of want your names to be kind of like 15 characters or less because it's just easier to type. But play around
Okay.
with that. Like Sergeant Save a House is pretty good. And if it could be captain or something easier to spell or private property or no, that's probably taken left and right. Something that aligns more with the Air Force, but still generally a military because a rank is always major home damage. Ooh, that's not bad. Major damages. Ooh, that's even better.
Yeah, that's
Like
pretty
that
good.
kind of like it's not on the nose, but it's kind of like, wait a minute, what does that mean? And it could be, well, it could be not an appraisal. What do they do when they fix the houses? Remediation or
Oh,
something.
like the renovating
Yeah,
or
like renovating,
uh-huh.
but it's also a cool character. Major damage. Like, what do you mean? And it's like, well, we help we help you sell your major damage home, and major damage will get it done. Like, that's probably better for like a rehabber themselves if you're going to do rehabber. But you see the thinking here though, like look for
I
something
do.
that's going to be more you,
Mhm.
so that you love it. Now, what do you love? Like, what's your hobby?
I craft a lot. I make things.
Hmm.
So yeah, I renovate furniture. I make wreaths. I can look at something, you look at it and you'll see junk, but I see it for its potential and I'll turn it into something beautiful.
Yeah, I mean, there's some depth there. I would have to play around with that because you can actually incorporate all that. Like I was telling Jamal, you don't have to be about just two things. You can be about three things, but
Hmm.
two things is easier because people think that's your business, that's your personal, but those two can combine in different ways. And if you crafted military sort of crochet, or you like themes,
Hmm.
if that's even what you did, like, you know, when you're renovating stuff, that would
Hmm.
still tie into the bigger picture of Sergeant Save a House, or save a home, or I like save a home because it's almost like Captain Save a Ho.
Yeah, exactly.
That's actually,
So I
if
like
people
that. I
got
like that.
that, that's another level that like people would laugh about. Did you come up? Yeah, that's what we were talking about that. And I was like, you know, what was it? Captain Save. It was kind of like came from Captain Save a Ho, but I turned it to Sergeant Save a Home. And like, there's a whole
Yeah.
story behind that. But that would actually be a funny add-on story to it. So that makes it even more powerful. And then you can just tie all that other stuff in there. So I mean, I would play with that. I would see if it's all taken, and you know, that might be what you do. But I'm not gonna tell you to do just that. I'm saying go deeper into that and see what you find, because like I tell you, these things evolve. But that
Mhm.
is, if that is what you're gonna do in real estate, save homes, rehab, like refurbish furniture and recraft crafts.
Mhm.
That is a tight 1-2 punch that goes with your real estate, so that when you do leave whatever it is you do now, your 9 to 5, when you escape it, all that stays with you. And
Yeah.
not only that, but it gives you more to talk about. Because that's what I was telling Linda last week. Like, send recipes along with your wholesale deals. Like, this is a recipe for chili, and this is a recipe for rehabbing this home. And one is just ingredients, and the other is the numbers, and they look the same. It's like recipe cards. You just make a template for that and send it out every time.
Oh, wow.
Somebody
Mhm.
could print out the email and keep the recipe, and they got this right next to it. So like you'll remember that. Like, right. I mean, that just sticks in your head. With you, it could be, you could be talking about houses, but how much can you talk about houses, right? But you can also talk about a project you're doing, and like how you're refurbishing a desk to go into like say you get into like a staging, right?
Mhm.
That's also you know what, staging is actually saving a house too. So like part of that can be like a whole side biz with staging, or um offering like your pieces to stagers, because people like Etsy and people like that. So that could also be a piece of it too.
Oh, yeah.
I don't want you to go too broad. I want you to
Mhm.
start with the house thing, because that's going to make you the most money. But while you're waiting for those big checks and those things to come through, this other stuff is how you get people to stay with you.
Okay, got it. Got it. Got it. Okay, I appreciate that. Thank you.
Yeah, that's what I do. Come
Mhm.
up with this kind of stuff because I like to think about it a lot.
Yeah.
Um, and yeah, and if you go through the book, you kind of see. I mean, you know, I feel like I'm a little bit weird, but I think it's a good thing. And I'm not. I know I'm unapologetic about it, meaning that, you know, all of our flaws are also our strengths, because other people can't wrap their head around the things we do. So you might not like this part, but this other part is so valuable, you don't look at, or you just don't get caught up in that. And that's really where you want to get, because nobody's going to like everything about you. Not everybody's going to like you at all. You want to separate people into the love you, hate you, people not giving a shit about you. That indifference is worse than love or hate, because even if they hate you, they're going to talk about you, and that's going to help your your engagement, especially if they're on Instagram or Facebook kind of trolling you. They're still feeding the machine. That's what they don't realize. Like, they're still helping you out by hating on you. So it's better for them to love or hate you than it is to not care about you. So in all this, you want them to care about you the right way, But even if they hate you, it still works. You just don't want them to be like, I don't even know. I don't give a crap about that person. There's nothing unique about them. That's politics right there. Honestly, that's what politics do. They make you love or hate something because they're emotional drivers is the biggest driver that cause most people to engage in the first place, especially if stuff pisses them off. Funny that people will do more for negative stuff than positive stuff, but if you follow politics or just the whole past 4 years, people, the whole thing was pressing people's buttons on purpose because the more they got mad, the more they engaged, to feed the algorithm, feed the beast. Well, now that you know that and you know that's why they do that, now you use that to your advantage too. Every once in a while, you might want to drop a political thing in there. I would not suggest it too much, but if you craft it the right way, it's your opinion, right? Like most people, it's better to stay away from them kind of things if you can, but don't ever be afraid to stand up for yourself for something you believe in, is what I say. Whether you're Christian, Muslim, whether you like Trump or hated him, whether you're into Biden or you think he's going to ruin the world, don't matter. Make 99% of your stuff not about that. But if you drop one of those in and out here and there, whoever you lose on that, but say hola in Spanish, that means F them. So, it's pretty much how I feel. Any other questions? I think we did a pretty good session today. If there's nothing else, then I would just say we could wrap it up. But if you guys got anything, certainly feel free to ask. Got a few more minutes here.
I mean, I'm definitely gonna take your information and try to work that in. I know and figure out the ways to work that in and everything, and figuring out the personal stuff to add to it. That way I can kind of go with what you were talking about. I know currently with like my with the name of my business, the name of my business it is currently being Entrust Property Solutions. And I know with like my website that I developed, my main website, I was trying to figure out a way to I didn't want to be stuck in the name making process for too long, because the last thing I wanted was like analysis by paralysis, where and just I'm stuck on the name and not really doing anything. And so I was trying to come up with something that would be catchy but easy to do. And like for my domain name, I picked Justin Trust. And would that be something where it seems like it would be something simple to remember and things like that, going along with the business name of Entrust Property Solutions? Or what do you think? What would be your opinion?
So one of the things about LLCs and corporations is this: you don't really need to name your brand after that.
Okay.
Right. So you would have like I have Dad's Pads, I have Cash Flow Copilot, I have De Leon's Assets Management, I have Gorillas in the Mix, JKL Trust. Like none of these have a website. Well, I think a couple of them do. Daddy's Fast Cash, I don't know. Some of them do, right? The Dad Next Door does.
Mm-hmm.
But in the with real estate, like your LLC could be anything.
Okay.
Because when you sign contracts, that's how you get paid, and that's fine.
Yeah.
But you don't have to say like you could still do what I said, House of Steel. You could totally just buy that domain and change everything over to that, because that's way more memorable than Justin Trust. Now, for me, my email is Jason Case because it was easy to remember, just in case. Well, Jason Case, right? Like for me, that was the easy thing to do. But I don't advertise that like a website or nothing like that, because that was just for me, easy for me to pass along to people and remember. So just what do you have it? Justin Trust could definitely be your personal email or even your business email. That's fine if you can't get anything else. But the bigger brand, House of Steel, and I'm saying House of Steel spelled like with the E at the end, it's just such a big concept that people were like, it sounds like real estate, but it could sound like something else. And that's going to help you later for business for business stuff. Now, the LLC having that property name in it, like it is what it is. You can always go change it, buy an LLC for less than $50 and change that if you want to, but you don't need to do none of that now. What I'm saying is get a really good name that's branded. Spend as little as you can, but make sure the name rings bells. That's what you told me was your LLC. I already kind of forgot it.
Okay.
Like you don't want that. You want a name that's like, oh, that's that dude, House of Steel. I remember him. Like that's a dope name. If you're a sneakerhead, you want the nicest sneakers, right? Like you want people to be like, yo, those are tight. You want them to appreciate that. People will appreciate cool names and nicknames and things that ring bells because again, 10 real estate investors, Property Solutions AZ, Diamond Equity Solutions, Philadelphia Property Wholesalers, House of Steel, Black Elvis, Daddy's Fast Cash. Which of those are you remembering more? Like, do you get what I'm saying?
Got it. Yes.
So I want you to think of it as like, what are people going to, what's something that's going to speak ahead of you? And you know how hard it is to get a corporate name to speak ahead of you? Nobody knows or thinks about Coca-Cola like that. What did Coca-Cola have for breakfast? I wonder what Coca-Cola's the daughters are doing. Did Coca-Cola's grandma catch COVID? Like nobody gives a shit, right? But Jamal, House of Steel, Jamal, man, I heard, blah, blah, like, because you're associated with the name, it's going to be a more personal brand and people want personal. They don't want to talk to a corporation. They don't want to talk to LLC. When you get on the phone with a banker, when you get on the phone, like with anybody, don't you just want to get to the right person, like right away? You don't feel like you start hitting buttons. I don't want to go through this tree. I just need to ask one question. Like, do you understand like the mental process that it takes for someone to think of all the, I forgot that dude's name. Like, then it's too much. I can't find them in my emails. I forgot what property company it was. Like, you don't want people to forget you. You want them to remember you like that quick, because just like a slow loading web page, people will click off in 3-4 seconds. If it's not loading, I ain't got time for this. You don't want them to click off. You don't want them to forget you. You want them, when they're looking for you on Google or Facebook or whatever, they forgot your name, but they didn't forget their brand name. Like, I know his daddy something. Daddy, okay, that's him. He got the cartoon head. He got the house. That's the guy. Versus something Property Solutions, Justin, and there's 12 Justin somethings. Like, that's what I'm trying to get through to you. Like, get this foundation down. Don't be afraid to experiment. When I'm thinking of these things, I'll buy 5 or 6 or 7 domain names because they're cheap enough in the first year anyway, just that are close to it. Like, I don't know. I don't like House of Steel. Maybe it's some, Steel Holdings, or I don't know. Get that too. Get them all. Like, go find a coupon on like for Namecheap. There's plenty. They're always running coupons for first time buyers, and buy a bunch at the same time and keep them all. And then if you don't like any of them by the end of the year, you figured out the 1 or 2 you use, dump the rest. Like, just let them go back. Right. So don't be afraid of grabbing a couple names and playing with that. Just because I'm in love with it, you got to be in love with it, right? So what you love, but I'm just trying to get you to get it down to, like, remember, House of Steel to me is 3 letters, three words, which is your tagline. Well, what does that mean? And then you go into your two-line explanation. I buy and renovate houses, and I teach you how to build up a strong business. That's why it's House of Steel. It's strong. Oh, okay, I get it. That makes it your job easier talking about yourself.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
I'm hoping that makes sense. I'm not really trying to knock you off of what you've already built, but your LLC really doesn't matter. Your communications, because you probably won't even need a website. You could probably just do all this with like squeeze pages. I can give you stuff like GrooveFunnels or whatever, and it's just a bunch of pages that redirect, and you use your domains just to get their emails and their phone numbers and keep it moving. All that is more important than having this website that nobody goes to because they can't remember where the hell it is. Like, what was the name, right? You know what I mean? So get the memorable ones. That's what you want. Something that rings bells. Buy even the weirdest ones you can get. Is if it sticks in your head, buy it anyway. And then if you want to get rid of it later, get rid of it later. But what's $5, $5 to $7 to keep something that might like change your life? Like, that's your whole brand. So don't be scared on that. Don't go spending $2,500 on a perfect domain name If you can get a .com, great, but like .ios, .biz, .tech, .today, don't be afraid of using any of those other ones in the beginning and then just trying to grab some of them. But you don't, just get your name down first and then get some things that work with that. And so it feels right, because you're not going to just put this jacket on and it's going to fit like a glove. You're going to try it on a few times. You're going to zip it up. I don't know, man. I'm not feeling that. All right, well, play with it. You know what I mean? There's nothing wrong with that. This is your brand. This is you. Just like you developing your own mind and your own body or exercise. Not every exercise is going to be right for you. Not everybody likes to run, so they swim. Not everybody likes to swim, so maybe they hike. Whatever fits you. But you got to start the exercising, and then figure out from there was really working for you, and then hit that hard. Like that's it. Like that's what this process is about. Determining what's going to stick in your mind and other people's mind. Don't be afraid to ask friends. Like, hey, I wouldn't ask too many online because they might go steal your name, because people will do that. But once you have like 5, grab them and then just see, like, grab your 5 domains, grab that one email that works for all of it and be like, look, which one of these you like better? Have them all. And then they might be like, well, I like that. And there you go. The easier, that makes your process easier. And it's doesn't hurt nothing to ask a few people. That's called market research. So.
Okay. Sounds good. I appreciate the advice. Thank you.
Yeah, man. Anything else before we wrap it up for today?
Thank you, Jason.
I'm good. Thank you.
Nah, thank you guys for showing up today. I just want to make sure that I let you guys know that right now, here, give me a second. I'm going to do a new share. I want to make sure that you guys know about it. So tomorrow we got this going on, right? It's 52 weeks to wealth. So Alchemist Nation, if you're not already familiar, I think if you came through the meetup, this is where we're working together. Like, we're in association with each other. And I want, the whole purpose of this was to groom more people to get prepared for this 52-week, this 52-week process where, try to build you up to become a millionaire. And this is one of the pieces in that puzzle. So let me see. I want to make sure. And I don't know if you guys, all right, hold on. I'm going to put it in the chat. Give me a second. I'm going to find the link, but there's a free book you can get. And I'm going to give you the link to it. And now you got to pay for shipping, but it's a real estate book. Did you guys receive any of that yet, or no? Or do you know anything about the free book, real estate book?
No, and I didn't know about the book. So thank you.
Okay, hold on. I'm gonna grab.
Yeah, I knew about the meeting for tomorrow, but I didn't know about the book.
Okay, so the guy in the picture, Walter, he wrote this book. He actually has a few of them, but this is the one that you're gonna probably need if you're just kind of getting started anyway. Come on. All right, I should have been a little bit more prepared with this, but give me a second. Okay, so here is the book link you can go to, and you can go get that. Just this shipping and handling, and that way you get to know it's the people you're talking to. I got something coming out, but not for a while. I'll tell you about that. You already got one free book from me, guys. What do you want? What do you want? I'm just kidding. But yeah, so hopefully you guys can show for that tomorrow. They're pretty good. I just started jumping in on myself, and honestly, take notes, because, like, I don't know about you, but this is kind of what I do sometimes. And these were the notes from, this was the notes from last week. So I'm not just, I'm also growing too. Like, just because I'm here talking and teaching you this doesn't mean I'm growing. I'm not growing too. I'm not building something up too. I don't have to refresh or renew or learn new information. It's always changing. So I would suggest that anytime people offer you free classes or free trainings, you jump all over them, a book like that, because all this is going to help you to get to where you want to go. And if it's, wanting to be a millionaire, in the future, that's what he's committed to doing, making, it says it right here. I think it's his catch line is 100 millionaires this year. He wants to help make 100 millionaires. So how could you not want to be on that journey, right? Hopefully you become one of them. Even if you become a 100,000-aire, it's still better than probably where you're at right now, right? I mean, So yeah, so hopefully you guys can show up tomorrow for that. That's every Saturday at 10 a.m. Yeah, 10 a.m. And this also, you know, I'll keep in touch with you guys. If anything from this you need to review, I'm going to put it on the YouTube channel. So let me see. Do you guys need that? I mean, excuse me. I'm going to shoot a reminder email out anyway, probably tomorrow or something like that. So if you got to catch a replay or whatever, you can go there, subscribe. You can, you know, subscribe to the playlist, and they'll all kind of be there in a row, and you can just go back and check those out. And anything else you need from me, I think you can communicate with me through the meetup, Facebook, YouTube, this way, that way. I mean, there's a million ways to find me. But if you really need me, it's not that hard to get a hold of me, like I said, and you can always catch me here again or tomorrow, whatever you need. So hopefully that, you know, hopefully you guys enjoyed this today. And yeah, I guess I'll see you next week, hopefully.
Thanks a lot, Jason. I appreciate it.
All
You're
right,
welcome.
yes,
You're welcome. Just work on
Thank
your
you.
homework, guys. I would say your homework is to go out there and at least get a Google Gmail account with something that you want to be your brand, and try to grab a domain name. You don't have to change everything else just yet, but get your tagline down, what you're going to be about. If you don't have it perfect for next week, don't worry about it. Have 3 options even. Maybe you just like, you don't want to spend the money, a couple dollars or the 10, 20 bucks to get it all together. That's okay. Have a few options. And when we get back here next week, at least we could talk about that. Whoever's in the class could be like, I really like that one. You get a little feedback, and we'll keep inch by inch, keep moving forward. That's all you gotta worry about. Keep moving forward. Okay.
Thank you.
thank
All right,
you.
guys. Well, thank you for showing up, and I will.
Have a great weekend.
You too. I will. I had a good one already. So thanks, guys. I'll see you on the next one. Let me stop.